production, albeit even it might only be in the early stages or whatever. But how far do you think this remake train's going to run? Because once 3's done, I hope they've got that out of its system now. Because the way I see it is Code Veronica has been imported to the framework engine for the 360 and PS3.
And with that, let's begin. Hi guys, just thought I'd do a bit of a quick video tonight. There's a couple of things I just wanted to talk about now that the Remake 2 has been out for over a fortnight. We've got episode 50 out, so I hope all of you that have managed to listen so far have enjoyed that one, because it was a real blast to do. Really fun sort of dissecting the game and discussing about it. You know, I think people will probably be quite surprised as to how positive we were. It is a wonderful game, there's no doubt about it. The canon one is around the corner, and that's obviously very exciting. I'm hopeful, you know, it's going to be what I'd like to think is one of our very best ones, because, you know, in terms of like the content that we can bring you, you know, we're not really speed runners. We're not, you know, going to be capable to do like, you know, no damage runs and things like that. But I think our main forte is things like the storyline and the canon. So, you know, I feel that we'll be able to really sort of excel in episode 51. I'm really excited to do it, and I hope it'll be as enjoyable to listen as I'm sure it is to record. And with that, I just wanted to sort of talk about what the clip was at the beginning of the video. That was taken from episode 49, and we're starting to see some traction build on a lot of sites and a lot of videos coming about talking about the Remake 3. And I think at this point, you know, whether you've seen the sort of, you know, the leaks and that on Resetera, however you pronounce that, you know, it is kind of it is almost confirmed at this point. You know, short of Capcom actually saying, yeah, it's on its way, it is more or less confirmed. And so we now start to think about the series again moving forward. Remake 2 is obviously going to do very well, and a lot of people are very happy with it. Remake 3 doesn't fill me with the same level of dread that I felt all the way through to the run-up of Remake 2 coming out. And a lot of that is down to the approach of the canon and the storyline in Remake 2. And I'm not going to go into details, and save that for the canon podcast. But where it does sort of leave us is in a very sort of, I'm in a much more comfortable place because of the way they approach the storyline. And I don't want to say too much because I really am trying to save it for that podcast, but I go into Remake 3 a lot more comfortable and a lot more happy with sort of you know, where we are with regards to the series. When I did this diagram, you know, you could see sort of how I was thinking we were going to get, you know, this timeline, the fragmented timeline, you know, and I thought we were going to get a situation where several games are going to get discarded and removed. Episode 51 spoiler. I personally don't think that diagram is going to be. I don't think that's the situation anymore. I think it's going to be a lot more simpler and complicated than that. But for the Remake 3, the time truly, you know, the time is now. Capcom really need to strike while the iron is hot. They really need to get that confirmation out and really ride this wave of success that Remake 2's brought along. And with regards to the approach of that game, I don't think we're going to see anything quite as dramatic as what they did with Umbrella Chronicles, but I certainly think it's going to be more of a departure than even the sort of latter stages of Resident Evil 2 Remake was. They can do what they like as long as they really just hit the marks. Like, you know, they'll probably still use the opportunity to kill off Brad, they'll still have Carlos, they'll still have Nikolai, they'll still have Raccoon's destruction at the end, but really outside of that, Resident Evil 3 gives them quite a broad scope to do what they like, and I truly believe they will. Batman said this in the same episode, actually, episode 49, when I was sourcing that clip. I listened to a couple of points he makes, and you know, we won't know the full extent of the potential changes to canon until Resident Evil 3 Remake comes out, or the remake. But then I go back to the point that I raised at the beginning, and I'd really like, you know, to start a discussion in the comments, or hit me up on Twitter if you like. Where do you guys want the line to be drawn? Where do you think that invisible line in the sand needs to be scored? Because personally, for me, as I said, you know, in episode 49, once they get Remake out of their system, I want that to be it. I want to move on with this story, this series. I want to get to, you know, Revelations 3. I want to get to Resident Evil 8. I don't want to see a Code Veronica remake. I don't think it necessarily needs one, and I know some people have issues with that game, and I know some people have problems with it, but I don't necessarily think it needs one. The graphics are dated, it's undoubtedly true, but it does work in the framework engine. The new lighting system is good enough to, I think, hide many of its flaws. But you know, I've been watching some streams. I've been looking up quite, I think, a few things to do with, you know, the Remake 2, and it's just quite disheartening to see so many people sort of saying and demanding, can we have a remake of this style of Resident Evil 2 remake, of the original remake? And it's like, no, the original remake is perfect. It does not need an over-the-shoulder remake. But people are there with the demands. I've seen the Code Veronica remakes. I've seen the demands. I've seen the Resident Evil 4 demands. Well, Resident Evil 4, anyone who's played the fan HD project, everyone knows that 4 does not need a remake. And I'd like to actually see Capcom use that version of the game. Get in touch with the guys who've done this project, it's incredible, and get Resident Evil 4 out looking like that. Seriously, look it up if you haven't. It's breathtakingly done. You know, Zero and Remake are essentially future-proof. Zero in particular looks great, doesn't need any other work doing to it really. There's some nice mods for the remake on the PC. There's a new mod that's just come out recently which upscales quite a few areas, and the Aqua Ring looks really, really good now. But in terms of, like, you know, remaking the remake with an over-the-shoulder perspective, I personally think is ridiculous. I'd love to see sort of what many people's opinion of it, because I appreciated the reason for 2 and 3 having to happen, because they were sort of lost to the PlayStation 1. There's not really that much work you can do with the backgrounds and things like that. And so, you know, with regards to, you know, bringing those titles to, you know, next-gen systems, it made sense to essentially have to remake them from scratch, and that's absolutely fine. But once we get Resident Evil 3 done, let's please just move on. The series doesn't deserve to be stuck in the past. We've already lost too many years and too much time to subpar titles like, you know, Resident Evil 6, and as much as I love 5, I respect the fact that a lot of people have problems with it, and you know, you can see all these years as wasted opportunities, and you've already seen the level of damage control that Capcom have had to go to you know, put the story back on, you know, to course correct the story, and you know, things like Separate Ways and Umbrella Chronicles, you know, Umbrella's End, and that. These are not accidents that just happened in games. These were reactions to negative opinion to do with where the story went and things like that. And so, you know, I'd like to see it move on. I don't want the series stuck in the past. So yeah, more than anything, this is just sort of a video to sort of hopefully provoke a bit of a discussion about, like, what you guys want. You know, what do you guys want? Do you want to see after the Remake 3? Do you want to see them go back and remake Code Veronica? Do you want to see them go back and put an over-the-shoulder spin on the remake? Because I personally don't, and I'm not trying to be negative, but I'd like to move on. I think the only game I would truly like to see a re-release of, or you know, a remaster, not a remake, a remaster, is I'd like to see Outbreak come out on the current gen systems, PC and that, with full online support and everything like that, because I think that game never got its chance back in the day. I don't think the internet was where it needed to be, and consoles certainly were. The online infrastructure and everything, I think, is there now, and I think Outbreak would get, albeit a niche audience, but it would get the audience it never got. And I already know there's lots of people who played it back in the day, but there was a hell of a lot of people who didn't as well. So then, in terms of like what I want, I'd love to see Outbreak HD, Outbreak Remaster, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, I'm interested to see what they'll do with Remake 3. I think it could be a really interesting project. But after that, get Code Veronica and the framework version of Code Veronica, get that re-released on current gen consoles, get that PC version of that game out, and then let's go with Resident Evil 8. Let's go with Revelations 3. Let's actually, let's push forward again and actually look forward to new, exciting storylines in the series. So yeah, that's in a nutshell is what I would like. So what would you like? So like I say, pop it in the comments. Hit me up on Twitter, and let's get some discussion going. Please, let's not get into just like a remake culture for this series. Let's get it moved on. Let's look forward to seeing, Sherry Birkin again, because by God, if 6 did one thing right, it did that character justice. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Episode 51 around the corner. It's gonna be special. I don't think it's gonna be as controversial as people like to think, but I still think it's going to provoke some very interesting debates. So until then, carry on enjoying Remake 2. We've got Ghost Survivors coming out, and we'll see the what ifs of Raccoon City. So until then, this is TyranT out, and see you soon.